What's up, hockey player? Coach Garner here from hockeytraining.com. In this video, I'm going to be running you through what's known as a transitionary workout. Now, every single hockey athlete out there who has an in-season should be training during the off-season. But there's a certain bridge period that needs to take place in between the in-season and the off-season. That's why I call this a transitionary workout. It's a transitionary phase that you need to undergo in order to have active recovery put in place, in order to get your tissue, your connective tissue regenerated and get blood flow back in there. It's important to get your structural balance back in check so that you are bulletproof when you get into the more intense off-season phases for strength and hypertrophy and power output. And it's just important to take some time off super intense activity from a psychological perspective as well. So a transitionary phase is in place psychologically and physiologically to really slingshot you into a much more productive off season. I'm going to run you through what an example workout looks like in the brand new 2019 Off Season Domination System. Let's get into it. First exercise that we're going to be going through is a superset between elbow on knee external rotations and the barbell Cuban press. Now, every single exercise in this workout is going to be 3 sets of 8 to 12, but they are supersets. So you're going to be doing them back and forth. So I'm going to do my elbow on knee dumbbell external rotations, but I'm going to rest for 10 seconds after I do this. Then I'm going to move into my barbell Cuban press. Then I'm going to rest 90 seconds after I perform those reps before going back and starting my next round of a superset. That's how supersets work for those of you who are unfamiliar, but the first exercise is the elbow on knee dumbbell external rotation. Very simple, leg planted nice and strong. This one's strong as well. Elbow on knee. Going to bring this down. This is has to be very controlled because the rotator cuff is little susceptible to injury, especially for hockey athletes. But due to the internal flexion that hockey athletes go through for the entire season, they end up having strong and tight internal rotators, which bring them in like this, but then weak external rotators. And we need to bring external rotation back to bring structural balance into the shoulder again to keep you injury proof. So this is an important exercise to be involved in the transitionary phase, but notice a very controlled tempo here. This is not ego lifting. You're not going to want to do something like this because you're going to put yourself at risk for injury in a tissue that is already at risk for injury, especially for hockey players. So do 8 to 12 per side there, and then we're going to move on to the barbell Cuban press. Now, the barbell Cuban press is a tough exercise, and we're going to emphasize that external rotation again here. But before I get started, this is an Olympic bar that is 45 pounds. This is a tough exercise, so if you haven't done this before, I recommend starting with the lighter weights that are predetermined as far as barbells go in gyms, where you can have like 15-pound bars, 20-pound bars, 25-pound bars. Start with those, or you can even do the dumbbell Cuban press as well. But how it works is you're going to be grabbing even on both sides, slightly wider than shoulder width apart, and I'm going to come up almost like a bar, like an upright row, but then from here I'm going to externally rotate until it's over my head and then press. Come back down, safe and controlled on the way back down. Bring my elbows up parallel with my shoulder, external rotation so it goes over my head, and press. That's how the Cuban press works, and it works to strengthen the entire shoulder girdle and not just the external rotators like we did with that exercise. That's the first superset you're going to be doing in this workout. The second superset you're going to perform is a combination of dumbbell alternating neutral grip overhead press with bent over dumbbell flies. Here, we're going to be standing. Keep a good posture. I'm always chest out, shoulders back. I'm never forward like this. I'm going to be here, up with a neutral grip. Neutral meaning I'm like this and not like this. And I'm going to alternate. 1, 2, 3. A lot of people here would actually do what's known as a simultaneous alternating dumbbell neutral press, where they're kind of going both at the same time. That is a simultaneous press. That is not an alternating press. Alternating is 1, 2, 3, 4. So keep it alternating and make sure you're pressing in line with your head. A lot of people make the mistake of pressing forward, but that puts a lot of unnecessary strain on your shoulders that shouldn't be there. We're going to be doing 8 to 12 reps per side there, and then moving into our bent over rear delt fly. A lot of you are probably already familiar with this one here. We're going to take these dumbbells here, neutral grip, bend right over, ideally to a 90-degree bend, and then fly all the way up while pinching my shoulder blades together at the top. Control on the way down. My rear delts are bringing the dumbbell up, and they are controlling it on the way down. I'm not doing any momentum lifts at all here. Again, this is no ego lifting. The transitionary phase is all about structural integrity and getting active recovery back in the body. You don't do that by ego lifting. That's the second superset you're going to do. The third is actually a tri-set. So you're going to do 3 exercises. Do 1 exercise, rest 10 seconds. Do the next exercise, rest 10 seconds. Do the third exercise, rest 90 seconds, and then repeat for the next round for 3 total rounds. First exercise is the supinated lat pull down. Supinated lat pull down. You have 2 main grips or 3 main grips. You have pronated, supinated, and neutral. Supinated, you can remember it just like you're holding a cup of soup. Supinated grip here, one side and the next. Coming down. Good posture as always. I'm going to allow my lat to get into full stretch position, and then I'm going to pull my elbows straight downwards and keep my elbows nice and close to my body. A big mistake you'll see a lot of people make is they allow their elbows to go outwards. But you want to keep your elbows nice and close to your body and bring the bar all the way to your chest. If you're not touching your chest, you're not doing a lat pull down, whether it's supinated or pronated, or underhand or overhand, however you want to think about it. Perform 8 to 12 reps here, nice and controlled, pinching the shoulder blades at the bottom and getting full stretching of the lats. Next exercise you're going to perform is the incline neutral grip dumbbell press. So hockey players, they've got a lot of issues with their shoulders. If you haven't noticed yet, I'm addressing a lot of these structural issues in this transitionary phase for a reason. Different workouts have different emphasis. In the transitionary phase, I may focus on the knee in one, I may focus on the hips in another. This one definitely has a shoulder focus, and this is the example workout for today. But the reason I bring that up is because we're going to be doing the incline neutral press. But the reason we're going neutral grip is because it's very shoulder friendly. When you're doing a chest press and you go pronated, you might be able to move a little bit more weight, but it's also a little bit more strain on your shoulder if you have an unhealthy shoulder. But if you have a healthy shoulder, it's not a problem. It might be something that's safer to do later in the off season. But in the beginning of the off season, we want that neutral grip for our chest work, and we also did that neutral grip when we were over there doing our alternating standing shoulder press. So we're here, pressing for 8 to 12. Full range of motion as always. I got a stretch in my chest at the bottom, and I extend all the way to the top. We're always looking for as much range of motion as we can, and we're doing it neutral to keep it safe and to keep the workout hockey specific, a true bridging phase from the in-season to the off-season. Last exercise in this tri-set, I'll use these dumbbells again, and we're going to do the dumbbell Romanian deadlift. So to add some posterior chain and some lower body work into this workout, we're going to have a pronated grip here, a good posture. I'm going to allow my body to come down, feel a good stretch in my hamstrings, my glutes, and then reach full at hip extension back at the top. Keeping the dumbbells nice and close to my legs as always. Feel a good stretch, come to the top. There is no prize for who can go the lowest, okay? You're not going to try and go all the way down here if you sacrifice technique. You want to come back up once you start feeling that stretch. That's when you come back up and go for hip extension. This is a posterior chain strengthening exercise. It's not a gymnast exercise, so there's no trophy for going all the way to the ground. This is not something you want to do and could really defeat the purpose of the exercise. So you're going to do those 3 exercises all back to back like I outlined, 8 to 12 reps of each one, before moving on to the very last exercise of the transitionary workout, which is the bicycle crunch. The bicycle crunch, you're going to do 8 to 12 reps per side. Here, you're just going to be right on the ground. A lot of you might be familiar with this one, but the bicycle crunch is one of those rare core exercises that works the upper anterior core, the lower anterior core, but also your rotators. So you're getting the rectus abdominis, but also the obliques within one exercise, which is pretty rare because it's the core work is typically isolated in many cases. Here, I'm going to not ever pull my head forward. I'm going to have my hands just on the side of my head, and I'm going to have my legs in split position. I'm going to touch and go. My legs never touch the ground, but they also stay very close to the ground. One mistake you'll see people make with the bicycle crunch is they'll be way up here. You don't want to be up here. There's a better stability component to this exercise if you keep nice and low to the ground. So it's upper abs, lower abs, rotators, and stabilization if you do it properly, making it a very well-rounded core exercise. And you need a strong core before you go into the bigger phases of the off season, because it's what's going to keep you safe when you start loading up a weight on the barbell, which you should be doing later on in the off season for many, many, many reasons that go outside the scope of this video. But that's a wrap. That is a transitionary phase workout from the Off Season Domination 2019 system. If you liked that video, make sure you give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And for more information on how you can get your hands on the Off Season Domination 2019 system, it is live now. So click on the link in the comment section below. Let's have the best off season you've ever had. Thanks for watching.